lot to the game, and he's right here.
Right now.
Online at thezone1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Well, looky here. Looky here. It's Friday, everybody. You made it to the weekend, sort of. Welcome in. And I know that yesterday was a big fat celebration of opening day of Major League Baseball, because technically it was, but my team plays tonight, this afternoon. The Atlanta Braves versus the New York Mets, coming your way a little bit later on. I might DVR that sucker and watch it tonight. What are y'all going to watch? Thanks for tuning in to the show. Live on the Zone. However you're listening, wherever you're listening, I just appreciate it. Also, you can be a part of the show here today. I'm going to take your texts at 885-ESPN. That's a 601 number. 885-ESPN. Call me on the Davini phone. It's 995-1059. That's a 601 number as well. It's time to get it started right on a Friday. Here we go.
25 seconds left to play.
You're listening to the Matt Wyatt Show.
I want winners.
This crowd is alive.
Play to win the game.
Wyatt from the shotgun, two backs alongside.
Knock him out, John.
Wyatt gets the ball.
It won't be long.
Wyatt back to throw. Wyatt looks, fires toward the end zone. Passes, caught for a touchdown by Matthew Butler.
Speak to
The Matt Wyatt Show. He's Radio Wyatt.
Well, how am I going to go to college? I'll just play football.
All right, how's that sound? Yes, sir. Okay. Hey to everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Look at the Facebook comments just popping up real quick here. Stacy says, me too, Matt. I love them so much. I'm assuming we're talking about the Braves right there, Stacy. Lynn says, Hail State, that shirt is awful. If you're... Lynn told us he's a Mets fan. The Braves are playing the Mets. They're in-division rivals, on and on. It goes way back. Trust me. Like, it goes all the way back to, like, Braves fans hating Darryl Strawberry. Like, I'm talking way back. Mets fans, they can't stand Chipper Jones. Maybe they respect him now that he's in the Hall of Fame. But I'm wearing the Braves jersey today, and Lynn says the shirt is awful. Well, for today, you have to say that, right, Lynn? Or for the weekend, anyway, for the series. Joy on Facebook comments and says, loving the cap. Yeah, it's a new hat I got from the Mississippi State University golf course at Hail State GC on Twitter and Instagram. And it's got the pirate flag logo across the front. It's got the Mississippi logo in maroon on the side, but the pirate flag on the front. Robbie on Facebook says, I'm not watching MLB getting too political. Just play ball. And my man JB says, here we go. Hey, JB, this is what it used to sound like when I was a kid and I'd turn on the Braves on WTBS. This is what it sounded like.
Back goes Nixon to the wall. He caught it. Unbelievable. Kiss this one goodbye. It's a slam.
Otis Nixon, baby.
Yeah. He comes. He's big. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win.
Man, it was great. As a matter of fact, that sound clip right there of the old Braves, that was from the 90s. That was the 1990s Braves intro on WTBS. And I have it, pretty much every year I put it on my phone as a ringtone. And so if you call me during baseball season, well, really this time of year until we get going in football. I'm kind of a fair weather baseball fan, I guess. Like I hit it really hard in April, May, and June, and then I go football in July. But yeah, I'll make it a ringtone on my phone. How about this text right out of the gate? The first text on the Country Pleasin' text line. Country Pleasin' sausage on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast. Ghost Pepper says, this is all caps, by the way. Braves suck. Cardinal Nation. If you ain't a red bird, you are red bird seed, baby. Look, man.
He needs to be looking at the live stream and seeing that awesome jersey.
It's retro. It's retro.
It is fine.
It is, and it's made out of the same stuff those poor guys used to have to wear too. That real thick, scratchy polyester. Like I have,
better than old heavy wool.
Man, look, the logos on this are actually sewn on and raised wool logos on this old authentic jersey. It's hot. I wouldn't go outside in this thing right now to save my life. It is scratchy and hot, but this is what they used to play in. It sure is. The retro 60s, late 60s, like the first uniform that number 44 in your program, number 1 in your heart, the real home run king Hammerin' Hank Aaron wore. This is the first Braves jersey that he wore. Okay, this is the real deal here. And this guy, Ghost Pepper, gets on the thing here and says Cardinal Nation. Now, let me just say, probably the most famous radio host in the country at this moment, Mike Francesa, WFAN New York. The Mike and the Mad Dog, that's that Mike. Well, they announced it, I think, yesterday or today is his final day on WFAN in New York. He's hanging it up for good. And it's appropriate now, Ghost Pepper, for me to send you. I'm not going to play it for you. You go to YouTube, okay? And I want you to look up about 4 years ago, Mike Francesa's rant at the Jets regarding the Jets, back when Rex Ryan was the coach of the Jets. And one of the things he gets into is how they called themselves Jets Nation or Jet Nation. It's stupid. And you just have to say, but it's great. It's so entertaining to watch him he's just foaming at the mouth, screaming at these Jets people. And he gets into how they call themselves Jet Nation. Jet Nation.
Is that not a Brent Musburger colloquialism? Because
Nation?
Everything to him was the Sooner Nation, the Seminole Nation.
Well, it obviously originated somewhere. Maybe it did originate with Musburger, Maybe it did. In the rant, Francesa goes, the Giants have got 3 Super Bowls. They don't even have a nation. It's great. You just have to go why. I can't possibly play it all for you, and I can't explain it to you. You just have to watch it, Ghost Pepper. Check that out. You'll get a great, big, fat kick out of it, I promise you. Gator Man on the Country Please and text line 885-ESPN. Y'all welcome in on this Friday, kind of a free-for-all Friday. We're going to have a lot of fun today. I am anyway. I hope you do too. Gator Man says they should do like George Costanza and switch all of that polyester to cotton because it'll make the players more comfortable. Yeah, just like Costanza. He got everything right, didn't he, Costanza? Hey, let me give you all a heads up too. You're going to hear a lot of things on this show. I'm going to play a lot of clips for you. We're going to have a good time. We do something on my shows that I've been a part of for years. Every opening day of Major League Baseball, we have a lot of fun going back and listening to clips of the voices we grew up with, that famous broadcasters, kind of get that nostalgic feeling going, and it kind of makes you, I don't know, it takes you back, right, to the voices that kind of introduced you to baseball when you were coming up. And it could be any number of different broadcasters for different teams, depending on who you rooted for, who you listened to, where you grew up, what you watched, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to do that. We're going to listen to a lot today. But also, we have a countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. 2 teams today. Today, we are actually 43 days away from September the 5th. So we're going to do team number 43 and 42. And one of those teams it's unbelievable the winning they've done, and I guarantee you don't even realize it. Number 2, they have the biggest upset in college football history that is paired with one of the greatest radio calls in college football history. And I'm going to play that for you here at the end of this hour. So make sure y'all stick around for that. Okie doke. Okie doke. Now, Facebook muted a portion of our live video yesterday. No, that's not right. They didn't mute it. It was YouTube. YouTube did a copyright claim on a portion of the live video from yesterday because we played this version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. We're streaming on YouTube again today. So go ahead, YouTube. Copyright claim it. I guess you have no choice. But we're going to play this version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game as we bring in Lynn on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment in Madison and in Jackson. What's up, Lynn?
How you doing there, Matt?
Yo.
Hey, you get to watch any of the games last night?
Yes, I did. I watched, the 5 innings leading up to the rain delay for the Nats and the Yankees. I watched that. I did not stay up and watch Dodgers Giants. I went to sleep, caught some highlights this morning on my phone.
Well, you heard what I was going to talk to you about then, because I was watching it too. I lost the signal after the first 3 innings on my phone, but
yeah.
Did you hear how many baseballs they said they were going to go through?
Yes,
in the game?
I did. Well, I didn't hear exact number, Lynn, but I just heard him say
24 dozen.
24 dozen
They
per
said
ball
they
game?
were expecting 24 dozen per game.
Good gracious. Well, I guess we could do the math on that times 60 games. Well, they did say, that's what I was going to say. I heard them say they were going to use more baseballs in 60 games than they normally do in 162 games. It's amazing to me.
That is unreal.
Mm-hmm.
They've all been microwaved.
Golly.
Well, and hey, part of that might be projecting how many home runs Giancarlo Stanton's going to hit in 60 games too. I mean, my gosh.
He smacked one last night, didn't he?
Has there ever been a more gladiator-looking baseball player than that guy?
I don't think so. He looks like he belongs in the NFL. Him and Judge both really, but anyway, I just don't kind of call see if you heard that, because that to me that was mind blowing. 24 dozen balls a game.
I know. Well, and like the first pitch of Yankees and Nats last night, Scherzer throws the first pitch up there, and they immediately sent the ball to the dugout. But But y'all, and I know JB, you were watching too. Did I understand that the main reason they threw that first pitch to the dugout was because he accidentally used the ceremonial ball or something like that? Or am I crazy?
That's correct. No, I think that's correct. That's what I heard.
So, they add that one to the list. And then, of course, it was interesting to see Stanton hit that home run, just murdered it, past the first row of seats out there in left center. And then the camera zooms in on the ball. It's just sitting there. Just sitting there. There's nobody to go get it.
And the announcers, I don't know if it was A-Rod or the play-by-play guy, said that ball will be sitting there for another 8.5 innings.
It sure will. Unless there's some, masked up janitor out there in left center happens to wander out there, and go take home that. If I was
Buster Olney, I'd have gone and got it.
No doubt. You definitely would go get it.
Yeah.
Definitely. Johnny Red Dot, who's watching on the YouTube live stream, says, "What up?" and likes the throwback Braves jersey. Yeah, I like it too. About once a year. This thing is the scratchiest polyesterish shirt I own. It's a little too big too, but the whole polyester deal. I've washed it and dried it 8 times trying to shrink it over the years to where it'll fit better, and I still can't get it to shrink. I bought it too big, and it's just too big. But yes, supporting the Braves and Mets tonight. You got Soroka versus DeGrom. DeGrom, I think, is the odds-on favorite right now to win the Cy Young in the National League. Is that right?
That's what I've been reading.
That's what I've been reading too.
Did you get a chance to watch any of the Dodgers and the Giants?
Just highlights.
Okay. I've never seen so much hair on the mound in all my life.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys made Carrot Top look like he was bald.
Well, let's see who Cueto started for the Giants, right?
Right.
And then, didn't Kershaw?
Yeah, Kershaw got scratched.
Right, he got scratched, yeah.
So, it was just amazing. I've never seen so much flow coming from a pitcher's mound and underneath the cap there.
Let me just say this. In a way, there's this entertaining spectacle nature of the fact that there are cardboard cutouts in the seats all behind home plate. Okay? But watching the highlights of that, it got a little distracting. Because, after 2 or 3 cuts of showing me the pitch to the plate, I'm like, it's starting to get weird. Starting to get weird that I've got all these cutouts in seats behind home plate. I don't need that. Really. I don't think baseball. It's kind of like they're overthinking that the same way they overthought, hey, let's put a square superimposed on the screen so everybody will know what the strike zone is. Well, number one, we're watching baseball. We know what the strike zone is. Number two, the umpire is the only one it really matters. that he knows what the strike zone is. And he'll tell us if he thinks it's a ball or a strike. Why you got to put a square on my screen? It's distracting. It's starting to kind of get, I think we overthought it, putting fans in the stands at fake ones. We don't need that. We understand there's no one there. So whatever. But I didn't get to see that.
A little rant to start off your
Why
Friday.
not? Why not? I do more ranting about baseball and Braves really than anything else. Chris on the Country Pleasing text line says, likes the jersey. Go Braves. Tip says, as a high school baseball coach, I wish Major League Baseball would send all those barely used balls to us. Oh, I guarantee you. I mean, how many times have you picked up a baseball, just you're throwing BP, Tip, and you pick up a ball that the cover is loose and mushy and separated from the inner core? You still throw it up there and let them hit it, though, don't you?
Yeah,
Nick.
good luck throwing it with those laces.
Oh, right.
Those laces are so weird compared to the raised laces on the high school ball.
I mean, that's
even,
right.
Even the college ball doesn't have the high.
I know, they're really tight. It's just tight and tightly wound. Nick says, if Dr. Fraud can sit in the stands with no mask on and right beside his buddies, why can't we? And Mad Male Person said, chop on. Jason in Flagstaff texted the show to start us off today and said, I got to say thank you, Brother Wyatt, for being the only sports guy that can talk about COVID-19 at all without being a partisan parrot for either side. I'm so tired of fishing for common sense in the media. What kind of bait do we use if we're fishing for something in the media? What do we do? A good hashtag? We have to dangle a good hashtag out in front of them. We might get the media to bite. Coffee Norman says, Matt, I saw Smoltz pick Brandon Woodruff as his National League Cy Young prediction. Isn't that incredible? What an athlete, Brandon Woodruff. And Matt Daddy on the Country Pleasing text says, hashtag Hail State. Mississippi Tiger, no better words than John Sterling's "the Yankees win" call. Yes, I'm a Southern Yankees fan. Jeter is the GOAT, and I'll never take it back. I know a bunch, Mississippi Tiger, I know a bunch of Yankees fans. And I used to pick on some of my friends for being Yankees fans, born and raised in Mississippi. They just decide they're going to be a Yankees fan because they win. But, there's something to it, how over the years, I mean, it's a cool team to follow. You can watch all their games. I mean, their games have always been on television. You could always find them popular, and you could see how people become Yankees fans. And last night, I don't dislike the Nats. It's just that they're division rivals with Atlanta. You're always looking for the Braves to beat them. Last year they do in the regular season, and then, of course, the Nats have the magical postseason run, get a World Series ring out of it. I don't necessarily and there's also kind of this soft spot in my old guy heart because they used to be the Expos. And I used to think the Expos were cool. And they're gone, and we want the Expos back, right? And that whole story of what happened in Montreal and how sad it was when they lost the Expos. And so there's a little bit of a soft spot there. It's not that I hate the Nats. It's just that last night I was pulling for the Yankees to beat them. It's like what you do. I mean, if you follow one team over a period of time, you'll start rooting against their division rivals, and that's what I kind of do. So I was kind of a quasi-Yankees fan last night, rooting for them to win, and they did in 5 innings. Garrett Cole's a real deal, huh? You keep him healthy over 60 games, you're going to win every start he makes. You pair that lineup with him, man, the Yankees are really good. But they say the Dodgers are better. How are the Dodgers better than the Yankees? I don't know. Shortened season, a sprint to the finish, it's really kind of up for grabs for anyone, I think.
You want me to tell you why they're better?
Why?
Because they play on the senior circuit, not the junior circuit.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
The senior circuit, you mean the American League?
No, the senior circuit would be the National League.
Oh, I got you.
We have to have a DH for the pitcher because the pitcher can't hit.
In the regular,
that's not baseball.
Well, and you know what's cool about it is they changed that up, didn't they? Am I mistaken? But didn't they say that everybody's going to play with the DH in this 60-game season?
Right. So let
that's
me
gonna
just ask
be
you a question,
different to watch.
It is, but I mean, you're an athlete. You were a baseball player. You're a football player. I assumed you pitched and played shortstop. Am I wrong?
Well, pitched and played first and third.
Okay, first and third, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that tells me you're pretty athletic. If you go back and look at most pitchers in the pros these days, when they started Little League, Pony League, high school, most of them were not only a pitcher but played shortstop.
Mm-hmm.
and they had a good bat. And
Right.
so a lot of these, you think about Steve Avery, one of the guys from the Braves. He used to swing a bat. And swing a mean one.
Yeah.
So I think you cause people. Aaron Nola's another guy that had a great bat and played shortstop for LSU.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I get frustrated with the American League.
With the DH deal. Tim Hudson, a great example. He was like a batting champion in the SEC.
That is correct.
That's
at Auburn, right?
At Auburn, right.
Yeah.
Some guys. Well, Brandon Woodruff, he's a left-handed hitter, had a huge home run in the playoffs 2 years ago in a pinch hit situation against Clayton Kershaw. You're right. They're athletes. They can hit the ball if they just worked at it. And there is an element of it's a little different the way that they treat the pitcher, but it's always exciting when a pitcher actually drives a run in, helps himself, Okay, so Mississippi Tiger, he's a Yankees fan, and he said no better words than John Sterling's "The Yankees win" call. Speaking of voices and calls, y'all, I'm so glad you're here with me on our show on this day, a historic day, opening day for a lot of our teams in a shortened pandemic season. I do this every year on opening day of baseball. It happens to fall in July this year. We're going to hear the voices that we grew up listening to coming up next. In the Farm Bureau studio, stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
How you like my hog hat? That stands for Country Pleasin' Sausage. Country Meat Packers is a great Mississippi company. Let me tell you a little bit about them, huh? You want to know the reason that you need to sit down at the table and say, "Country pleasin', please"? Here's why. It all starts with hand-picked, pure pork. No parts, no stuff. It's hand-picked ham, bacons, pork loins, the real deal. They produce Country Pleasin' in small batches also, which means consistency in every package. Spices, fresh ones that are mixed daily on site right there at the plant in Florence. The hand-picked pure pork is coarse ground for an old-style snappy bite, better flavor. Now, their smokehouses are not cookie-cutter houses either. They are designed and built for country meat packers and for their own smoking methods. And they use hickory logs that they split daily on site. They don't use hickory sawdust. The logs produce a better smoke, a stronger flavor. It's the real deal. They use a natural hog casing for their sausage. It's soaked in vinegar for a tender snap. Country Pleasin' Sausage is smoked in a 4-hour pure smoke process for the best color and flavor. And here's the thing, it's hand cut, so the package experience is great as well. When you check it out on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast, you'll see what I'm talking about. And frankly, let me put it this way. It's the best tasting sausage you'll put in your mouth every time, period. That's Country Pleasin'. Have yourself a Country Pleasin' morning, and always text the show on the Country Pleasin' text line.
Guys, 2020 is here. So new year, that means we got some new products, and I know you guys are probably getting ready for this year coming up. So a lot of people in the equipment world, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. So we've got Kubota, we've got Toro, we carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower. So we added this product last year, and I was just trying to kind of wade in the water with it just to kind of see what they would do. Number one stand-on mower out there. If you do your own research, get online, all roads are going to basically lead back to Wright. So and Red Max, so, from the handheld to the Red Max mowers, we have everything here at Davini. You've got homeowner mowers, starting with a 100 series, going up to the 400 series, going up to your full-blown commercial 700 series and your diesel mowers. Yeah, so we've already gotten a lot of calls this year, commercial guys.
All right, back with you on this Friday, live in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team. They are your home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the great state of Mississippi. JB, something came up on this show the other day, and I asked you, I said, do you remember that? And you were like, oh, yeah. I said, you remember that This Week in Baseball theme song?
Absolutely.
We were talking about Mel Allen, right?
Mm-hmm.
This week
Great Mel Allen.
in baseball, when he would call games and stuff, I think he had a catchphrase. He would say, how about that? That's what everybody would say. Well, I'm going to start you off because if we were to go right now, This Week in Baseball, it's historic. Okay, we are living during a time where pro baseball, Major League Baseball, is doing something that's never done in the modern era. A shortened 60-game season starting it in July. That's what's going on this week in baseball. Oh, yeah.
Here we go, baby.
Isn't that great? This week in baseball. All right, so for those that don't know, Mel Allen, he's originally, I don't know if he's from Alabama, but I think he was from Alabama. And I know that he got his start as not really a broadcaster. He was the public address person for Alabama football, and then that led to a couple things on local radio. And the next thing you know, Mel Allen was in New York calling New York Yankees games on the radio. And that led him to TV and a big career doing all kinds of other sports and stuff. And he should do that show, This Week in Baseball. I'm going to take you back now, JB, to 1987.
First and foremost, opening day. As a new season hits the road and the world champions from the Big Apple taste the early fruits of victory. Curtain up in the Queen City, where in keeping with tradition, a streamlined machine has an inaugural ball, cranking out a smashing debut.
Man, how good is this?
A premier season that turned the baseball world around, honoring a man whose start was an inspiration and whose courage has been firmly rooted in the game. Get a handle on the first servings of big league beginnings. With so much happening, it's easy to get lost. But with a little hustle, we think you'll catch on. So open yourself to a new edition of This Week in Baseball.
That's him. That's Mel Allen. Thank goodness for the internet. We can go back and relive and hear all that stuff so easily. Isn't it fantastic?
Do you know his full name, Matt?
No, I don't.
Yeah, get this, man. His full name is Melvin Allen Israel.
Wow.
And he graduated from Alabama and was the color commentator for the 1938 World Series.
World Series. Man, he could do everything. He was unbelievable. Mel Allen. Hey, try this one on for size. Remember the duo on the game of the week every weekend with Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola?
Yeah, yeah.
Comiskey Park in Chicago, and the temperature at game time a nippy
50 degrees, where it is much warmer, however, down on the field because a lot of sunshine and beautiful blue skies overhead. A light breeze out of the northwest, translating, blowing in towards home plate from back of right center field. Hi, everybody. I'm Vin Scully, along with Joe Garagiola, the Windy City in Chicago, and what a great way to break the seal on 1984.
Break the seal is right. If you're sitting in the stands and you got an infield like mine, you better get that sucker covered, I'll tell you that.
What a crew, man. What a voice. I mean, Vin Scully. He had so many great calls. Here's, a lot of people have heard the TV call. Vin Scully was doing radio when Kirk Gibson hit that home run in the 1988 World Series. And Vin Scully...
The one-legged home run?
Basically, right? He's basically on one leg.
Torn ACL, yeah.
Here's what's amazing. Vin Scully, the best ever, and in a situation as big as that, he said very few words and then realized the best thing he could do would not say anything. He almost said nothing. Here's his call of Gibson's home run.
Sachs waiting on deck. But the game right now is at the plate. High fly ball into right field. She is gone!
Hey, and that was it. Listen, he didn't say a word as Kirk Gibson rounded the bases. I'm talking about for like 2 minutes, John. It was just crowd noise. That's all it was. And
that's probably one of my most iconic moments watching sports. And we were talking yesterday and even a little bit this morning about at the top of the show about athletes. I mean, Gibson was the wide receiver for the Spartans.
I know.
The other MSU.
Yeah, the other MSU. I know. He's a great athlete. After about 3 minutes of just crowd noise, Scully came back in and kind of described the rest of it, but that's all they had to do. And it is gone. All right, Cardinals fans, here's a couple for you Cardinals fans. Let's go Jack Buck.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. It's a home run, and the Cardinals have won the game by the score of 3-2 on a home run by the Wizard. Go crazy.
Iconic call. Go crazy. Mike Shannon been calling Cardinals games, or had been for years and years. Here's Mike Shannon's call of Mark McGwire's record home run that he hit.
He is set. They are very deep. They play him to pull. Traxel winds and fires. Big Mac, swing, and a shot into the corner. It might make it. There it is. 62, folks. It just got over the left field wall in the corner. And we have a new home run champion. A new Sultan of SWAT. It's Mark McGwire. He touches them all. Unbelievable.
That's Mike Shannon. There was more to that. How about this? Joe, upon request, Joe is texting the show, and he said, can you do some Milo Hamilton? I will admit, not quite old enough to remember hearing myself in my own lifetime a lot of Milo Hamilton, but in going back and learning about great broadcasters and then studying Hank Aaron, because Vin Scully called Hank Aaron's home run on television when he broke Babe Ruth's record, but it was Milo Hamilton who was calling it on the radio, Joe, when Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth and then when he broke it. And I have both of them for you. Here's the tying home run. This is Milo Hamilton's call, the tying home run. He hit 714 opening day or opening weekend against Cincinnati that year.
3-1 pitch. There's a drive into left field. That ball is going, and out of here. Henry Aaron has just tied Babe Ruth in the all-time home run parade.
All right, and there's more to it, but that was in Cincinnati. Lynn on Facebook says, is this the first year the Reds haven't kicked off the season, or am I wrong about that? Yeah, it always started in Cincinnati at, well, what was their stadium, and then Great American Ballpark now, and maybe it's not, but see, that year they knew Hank Aaron had a chance to tie the opening weekend, so they scheduled it where the Braves would be at Cincinnati, and that's where he tied the record, and then it didn't happen that he broke the record until they got back to Atlanta. Here's Milo Hamilton.
Here's the pitch by Downing. Swinging. There's a drive into left center field. That ball is going to be out of here. It's gone. It's 7:15. There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron. The fireworks are going. Henry Aaron is coming around third. His teammates are at home plate, and listen to this crowd. A sellout crowd is cheering Henry Aaron, the home run king of all time. 7:15.
All right, so there you go, Joe. That was Milo Hamilton. That same home run, 7:15, you had Vin Scully calling it on television.
Once again, a standing ovation for Henry Aaron. So the confrontation for the second time. Aaron walked in the second inning. He means the tying run at the plate now. So we'll see what Downing does. Al at the belt, delivers, and he's low, ball one. And that just adds to the pressure. The crowd booing.
Hey, JB, nobody ever any better than Scully at setting it up and telling the story along the way, huh?
He never said anything or true.
Yeah.
Aaron waiting, the outfield deep and straight
He must be
away.
playing softball.
Fastball is a high drive into deep left center field. Buckner goes back to the fence. It is gone.
Yeah, you notice that particular home run, too. Vin Scully's doing television. A lot like his call of Kirk Gibson's home run in the World Series. He says, gone, and then he just steps away from the mic, and that's it. Just let it breathe, as they say in the broadcast world. It's really cool to hear that.
Hey, Matt, if I can jump in real quick.
Yeah,
Did you hear who say it went over his head? Did you know who that Buckner was?
Was it the same one?
It's Bill Buckner. Yeah, he played for the Dodgers from 71 to 76.
You're kidding me. And he was in the outfield at that time. Good gracious alive. You talk about being on the wrong side a couple of times, huh? We can laugh about it now. I'm coming to your texts next, and appreciate all the comments, Facebook, on YouTube as well. I've got some more for you. Some names like the ones I came up on, Ernie and Skip and Pete. Braves fans, you're about to get an earful coming up. Some of my favorite stuff from the guys who were kind of the voice of our childhood as we watched the Braves on TBS, every weekend, every Sunday afternoon growing up. Harry Callis, Harry Carey. I even have Dizzy Dean coming your way next. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Stick around.
Farm Bureau Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Campuses are empty. The arenas are silent. For now. people here today are few and far between. But soon, a crowd will show up. It's not a matter of if football will be played here. It's a matter of when.
I'll be there. I'm sure you will be too. I'll see you there.
It won't be long now. Can you imagine the return of the crowds to see the return of the team? What a day that will be. And it will be soon.
You know, you hear me say that C-Spire is the #1 network in Mississippi. That's unquestioned. They are another great Mississippi company as well and really support local sports. High school, you know, you see their logo and their advertisements at Ole Miss and at Mississippi State and at Southern Miss and everywhere. And you may have heard this, you may not have though. I mentioned this recently on the show, but there's a new thing they have at C-Spire called the C-Spire Health app. Okay, go to cspirehealth.com, read about it, sign up, and you put that app on your phone. And basically, if you have a minor ailment, a sickness, a minor health issue, something that, you know, we're not talking about a broken leg or a heart attack. I mean, you know, minor sickness ailments, instead of having to go to the doctor for that and sit in the doctor's office for an hour, if you live out, you know, drive 40 minutes just to get to the doctor's office, you pick up the phone, click on the C-Spire Health app, and within minutes, you are video chatting, like FaceTime, you're video conferencing, talking.
Yeah, I'm back with you. That's right. Hey, and a reminder, like I said, we've got team number 43 and team number 42 today on the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days leading up to the start of the college football season. Team number 43 coming up first. That'll be at the top of hour 2. The stream will stay here on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope for that as well, because it's going to be a lot of fun. It is a team that they are unbelievably successful. Kind of historically, but it's certainly in the last 5 years. And you probably don't even know it. Don't even realize it, what they've done. And some of the coolest things that have ever happened in college football involve this team. And they're flying under your radar and everybody's. Okay, so that's coming up. There's my tease on that. Back on the show in the Farm Bureau studio, Farm Bureau, go with the home team at Farm Bureau Insurance across the state of Mississippi. I stay connected to you around the clock, 24 hours a day. Thanks to C-Spire, the #1 network in Mississippi. C-Spire, customer inspired. Bull! There's a lot of that out there in the wireless world, but at C-Spire, they think you deserve a plan that's actually what it says. So here's the real deal. The best plan for 1 or 2 lines. $45 each with auto pay and paperless billing. No bull at cspire.com. We're talking baseball today. It's opening day for my Bravos, for your Mets, Lynn, and for many, many others. We're going to watch Brandon Woodruff, the opening day starter, one of our own, throwing out first pitch today for the Brewers. Of course, you got former Ole Miss pitcher Lance Lynn. He's the opening day starter for the Texas Rangers. There's a whole lot to watch if you're a baseball fan. But we do this every year on opening day, and that is go back and listen to some of these voices we came up on. Now, my whole life, heard stories about Dizzy Dean. Dizzy Dean and Pee Wee Reese used to broadcast games together, but they were both players before that. The stories about Dizzy Dean are legendary, about him as a player and his personality. He was just a good old boy from Arkansas, and he would tell great stories. And I actually have some Dizzy Dean audio. Y'all want to hear it?
I do. My dad loved Dizzy Dean.
He talked about him a lot, JB?
Oh, my gosh, yeah. Dizzy Dean and Bob Feller were two of his favorite pitchers of all time. My dad was just a baseball nut.
Yeah. Well, I've heard so much about Dizzy Dean over the years, not only as a player, but things that he said as a broadcaster, that kind of thing. He was born in Lucas, Arkansas. But, and now, this is what baseballreference.com says, that he is buried next to his wife in Bond, Mississippi, at Bond Cemetery. Anybody know where Bond is? I have no idea. But Dizzy Dean lies somewhere here in the state of Mississippi with us. Let's hear him. Let's see what I have here. I got one button here that says Dizzy Dean, JB, and the other one says Dizzy Dean Story. Okay, so I'm just going to hit them both. Let's go with Dizzy Dean first, see what we have.
Come on in, Diz, and tell us all about it. Thank you, Pee-wee, and I can't keep remarking how well you are talking. And so long as you've talked today, I begin to think there for a minute I wasn't even going to get on today. Well, Diz, I had a lot of practice last week. I got to do 6 innings, and, 6 innings you did? Oh, yeah, I was a big man last week. I don't see no reason why you shouldn't do 6 today, partner. Joe Montano leads things off up there as we start the ball game. Hunt winds up. The first pitch of the ball game is a fastball high for ball 1. Stevie told you a beautiful afternoon for baseball here at Crosley Field in Cincinnati, Ohio. Joe Amalfitano, the second sacker up there with the count of 1 ball and no strikes.
Hey, did you catch that, JB? This is Dizzy Dean talking. You hear what he called the second baseman?
Yeah.
He called him the second sacker.
Yeah. Yeah.
He paused to make sure he could pronounce his name, I think, before he spit it out there.
Next pitch is high for ball 2, and the count is 2-0. Talking to some of the Cincinnati fans here, boy, they've got pennant fever. Also, some of the executives and the announcers, one of the great ball players, Frank McCormick, who is announcing for the Cincinnati Redlegs. He says, these last few ball games, the Cincinnati Redlegs have thrown away a lot of runs. The opponents in the last 5 games have scored 46 runs against 18 for the Redlegs. There's ball 3 high, and the count is 3-0. Talking to one of the great ball pitchers of all time, Wade Hoyt, who also is broadcasting for the Redlegs. He was talking about some of the trouble that they were having in the last couple of weeks. They lost 5 in a row, and a week ago they were 6 games out in front. Today they find themselves only 2 games out in front of the Los Angeles Dodgers. There's a strike call, and the count is 3 balls and 1 strike.
I don't know how this...
3-1. Joe Amalfitano, the second sacker up there waiting. They're playing him straight away. This is what you call a hitting ballpark. It's not a good pitcher park, I'll tell you that. The next pitch. There's a line drive into right field for a base hit.
All right.
Amalfitano singles sharply right by the first sacker into right field.
Second sacker and first sacker. How about that? I'm surprised some broadcaster hadn't picked that up and taken that from Dizzy Dean. Here's the button that says Dizzy Dean Story. Let's see what he's doing here.
And I started the ball game in the 3rd inning. We only allowed to pitch 3 innings in those days. And in the 3rd inning, I had 2 men out, and Earl Averill came to the plate. And he had a line drive back and hit me on the big toe and broke it. We got him out on the play, but then 10 days later, I tried to pitch with a splint on my toe in Boston, Massachusetts against the Braves, and that's when I hurt my arm. And funny thing, Ron, I was 13 wins and 1 loss at the time that happened in 1937. I never won another ball game the rest of the year.
You were hard-headed enough to want to pitch.
I wanted to play ball. I believe that everybody want to go out there and give them their best, and I believe they do, and I just love to play baseball. You know, when I signed my baseball contract, it was a lot better to go out there and pitch for $3,000 a year, and $7,500 is the most I got for winning 30 ball games, but it still beat picking cotton for 50 cents in Arkansas. I'll tell you that right now, partner.
Amen to that, right? You know, John Grisham had a book called Calico Joe, and it eerily is similar to some things that happened with Dizzy Dean's career.
So he pulled
and
from
also
that.
Boo Ferris, you know, the great Mississippi State, Delta State, Boston Red Sox legend. Very similar careers as far as the injuries that they sustained.
Yeah.
And it caused them to find something else to do. I did find out that Bond, Mississippi is down in Stone County.
Stone County, yeah. Wes commented on the Periscope live feed, said Stone County. I got a text from a friend, Charlie. It says Bond is south of Hattiesburg and north of Wiggins down Highway 49 from Jackson. So it ain't too far. We need to go see where Dizzy Dean's buried.
That's where his wife was from.
Yeah. Okay.
And not too far from Pashuta, which is where he started his Dizzy Dean Charcoal Briquette Company.
Okay. Well, and see, and I've seen the sign that says Pachuta. I know how to say it, but
he was also the second sacker for the Orioles.
Second sacker. Isn't that great? Sven, watching on YouTube, said those guys played not for the money. It was for the love of the game. No, it definitely was. I loved watching the games and hearing Ernie Johnson Sr., Skip Carey, and Pete Van Weren calling the Braves games as I was growing up. This is Pete.
The Braves and Phillies started the weekend series with a couple of aces. But the hitters were the stars of the night. Tonight on TBS, two more pitching aces take their turn.
Good old Pete Van Weren, man. He was one of the best. He was part of that trio. I think I've played this one before you, though. Ernie Johnson, Skip Carey calling that Bob Horner 4-home run ball game.
Fastball, 0-1.
Who do you like in that U.S.-China basketball game?
I'll take U.S. I'll give you 2 points.
Oh, what a pal.
That's hilarious.
Isn't that great? This is
China baseball. Probably has a height advantage, wouldn't you think?
Spud Webb ought to join that team just to...
Foul away, up this way.
Of course, you never know. The U.S. government may declare that kids that go to college can't participate either.
What are they talking about between pitches?
At this point, is there a deadline on it, on the boxing? Whether they might?
I think it's passed.
Well, hit to left. That is back toward that wall. It's out of here, Bob Horner.
I tell you, man. Like, that's the way it was, JB, growing up watching the Braves on TBS, is between pitches, Skip and Ernie, they'd have like a talk show.
Yeah.
They're talking about boxing and the Olympics and making fun of short Chinese basketball players.
Do you remember Bob Horner's nickname?
The Captain.
That was one of them.
What was the other one?
Pillsbury Doughboy.
Yeah, that was absolutely appropriate. No doubt about it. Here's Skip's famous call of Sid Bream sliding across to send the Braves to the World Series.
A lot of room in right center. If he hits one there, we can dance in the streets. The 2-1. Swung line drive left field. One run is in. Here comes Bream. Here's the throw to the plate. He is safe. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. Braves win. They may have to hospitalize Sid Bream. He's down at the bottom of a huge pile at the plate. They help him to his feet. Frank Cabral.
Tell you what, man. You don't think he was happy rooting for that team? That's fantastic. More of that coming your way in hour 2. We're going to have a good time with some more of that in hour 2. I hope you'll stick around. We'll keep the stream going here on YouTube and Facebook, Periscope for you. And we'll have team number 43 on the countdown of 100 college football teams coming up. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Stay with me.
There's a lot of noise when it comes to
insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
How you like my hog hat? That stands for Country Pleasin' Sausage. Country Meat Packers is a great Mississippi company. Let me tell you a little bit about them, huh? You want to know the reason that you need to sit down at the table and say, country pleasin', please? Here's why. It all starts with hand-picked, pure pork. No parts, no stuff. It's hand-picked ham, bacons, pork loins, the real deal. They produce country pleasin' in small batches also, which means consistency in every package. Spices, fresh ones that are mixed daily on site right there at the plant in Florence. The hand-picked pure pork is coarse ground for an old-style snappy bite, better flavor. Now, their smokehouses are not cookie-cutter houses either. They are designed and built for country meat packers and for their own smoking methods. And they use hickory logs that they split daily on site. They don't use hickory sawdust. The logs produce a better smoke, a stronger flavor. It's the real deal. They use a natural hog casing for their sausage. It's soaked in vinegar for a tender snap. Country Pleasin' Sausage is smoked in a 4-hour pure smoke process for the best color and flavor. And here's the thing, it's hand cut, so the package experience is great as well. When you check it out on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast, you'll see what I'm talking about. And frankly, let me put it this way. It's the best tasting sausage you'll put in your mouth every time, period. That's Country Pleasin'. Have yourself a Country Pleasin' morning, and always text the show on the Country Pleasin' text line.
Guys, 2020 is here. So new year, that means we got some new products, and I know you guys are probably getting ready for this year coming up. So a lot of people in the equipment world, you know, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. So we've got Kubota, we've got Toro, we carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much and it's dirty as all get out, but this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower. So we added this product last year, and I was just trying to kind of wade in the water with it just to kind of see what they would do. Number one stand-on mower out there. If you do your own research, get online, all roads are going to basically lead back to Wright. So and Red Max, so, you know, from the handheld to the Red Max mowers, we have everything here at Davini. You've got homeowner mowers, starting with a 100 series, going up to the 400 series, going up to your full-blown commercial 700 series and your diesel mowers. Yeah, so we've already gotten a lot of calls this year, commercial guys. They're getting ready to plan this coming up season, this coming up year, trying to get their equipment needs ready to go for their customers. So, you know, a big part of our business is dealing with the landscape contractors, those guys that are out every day busting it during the summertime, you know, cutting yards, cutting lawns, maintaining properties. We've got everything that you guys need to have your season going, and then we have the service to back it up as well, service and parts to back it up as well. Just like this machine right here, this is your Z781i, which is going to be your electronic fuel injected Kubota 60-inch commercial unit. These just came out last year. Big hit for us last season. So really looking forward to getting more of these out in the field for you guys this year. So if you've got a business, landscape contractors, you guys come see us.
First up, Farm Bureau. You hear me talk about Farm Bureau Insurance, Mississippi Farm Bureau Insurance. And here's a couple things I want you to know about Farm Bureau Insurance in Mississippi. Number one, they call themselves the home team. There's a reason for that. It's not just that most of your local agents throughout all 82 counties are people that are from right here. In terms of, like, if anything ever did need to go up the chain a little bit, Jackson is as far as you're going. It's not another state. It's not an 800 number with some answering service. They call themselves the home team at Farm Bureau, and they really are your hometown heroes. You know, you hear me say that C-Spire is the number one network in Mississippi. That's unquestioned. They are another great Mississippi company as well and really support local sports, high school. You know, you see their logo and their advertisements in at Ole Miss and at Mississippi State and at Southern Miss and every.
1059.com and on your radio at ESPN 105.9 The Zone.
Yep. All right. So that means hour number 2 has begun. It is flying by today for me, JB. It means we must be having fun. I guess that's what it means. Now, welcome in to everybody listening, tuning in, watching, all that kind of stuff. If you're on the radio on 105.9 The Zone, hey, appreciate you tuning in. You know, wherever you are, wherever you go, you can stream this show lots of different ways, live and on demand. This is just a reminder. You can go to the website, thezone1059.com, click the play button, and you'll be listening to whatever's on the air. If you want to listen live whenever throughout the day, you can go to the iHeart app. That's what I have on my phone from C Spire. Just open the iHeart app. I've got 105.9 plugged in there. You just search it and 105.9 Jackson. Make it a favorite. It's right there for you. You can do that. The TuneIn app. That's other ways. And on this show, we stream it most days on Facebook, Periscope, Twitter, and on YouTube. So lots of different ways for you to tune in and lots of different ways for you to be a part of the show. Y'all text me on the Country Pleasing text line. It's 885-ESPN. Speaking of country pleasing sausage, Greg on Facebook said, I really like this sausage. Thanks for recommending it. Listen, I'm telling you, it's the best. If you're like me, you haven't tried it, you get it, you taste it, and you immediately go, all right, where do I get some more? Should I freeze it? What other flavors do you have? You don't even worry about, you don't even ask what it costs because it doesn't matter. But it is affordable. It's just the best. So I've been where you are, Greg. I thanked somebody at one time for recommending it, and now I'm recommending it to everyone else. That's just the way that works. Lots of baseball, lots of stuff to get into. I still have, let's see, who else I have buttons of here as we listen to baseball nostalgia here on opening day or days that we haven't listened to. Ken Hawk Harrelson, I got him. Harry Callis, the late great Phillies broadcaster. Ernie Hardwell, the late great voice of the Detroit Tigers all those years. Some play-by-play calls from Harry Carey that you probably have never heard. Calls even when he was back calling the Cardinals games before Harry Carey became the broadcaster for the Cubs.
Hey!
It was before he became the hey guy. Red Barber, longtime Yankees announcer. Red Barber from Columbus, Mississippi. I have some audio of him. So, yeah, there's some cool stuff left that we're going to go through with you. Hey, but JB, I wanted to read you this. You and I yesterday were talking about The Natural.
Correct.
Roy Hobbs, The Natural, that whole deal. I thought you'd find this cool. It was announced today, officially, we knew it, but it became official today that the Toronto Blue Jays are indeed going to use the minor league ballpark in Buffalo. I guess it's a AAA ballpark. They're going to use the park in Buffalo for their home games this year, the Blue Jays.
Right.
Well, Buffalo, New York was the primary filming location for The Natural.
Yes, indeed.
All right. So the store, like when he went and they met downtown and they had lemonade, and when they walked down the streets going to her apartment and this
you
ball.
Want to take a walk for a bit?
You want to walk? You want to take a walk? By the way, that never works in real life. They always say no. No, I don't want to walk. It's hot. Anyway, part of the other thing there was War Memorial Stadium, 285 Dodge Street, Buffalo. That was the home ballpark in the movie of the New York Knights. Old War Memorial Stadium in Buffalo. It was built in the 1930s. It was known lovingly for Buffalonians. Was that Buffaloans? People around there. They called it the Rock Pile. The old Rock Pile. The stadium was built between 1935 and 1937 as a New Deal relief project. It took 1,300 workers. Estimated at just under $1 million. The stadium ended up costing a little less than $3 million. Anyway, you can go read the entire history of that stadium. Old War Memorial Stadium. Let's see, in 1960, they had agreements. They brought a football team there in the 1970s. Sports Illustrated wrote about it in the 1970s. They were hosting football there. It hosted some AAA stuff, and then they eventually, current status, nothing remains from the natural era. In 1988, Buffalo's AAA baseball team moved into a new stadium downtown. That's where the Toronto Blue Jays are going to play now. They left the old rock pile, War Memorial Stadium. The site was cleared to make way for a youth athletic field. Only 3 of its majestic entrances survive, but were not used in the filming of the movie. Some of the other places you can go, the filming locations you can visit, but that one you cannot. It is gone. They tore it down, leveled it back in 1988. All right, I don't want to keep Chris hanging on any longer on the Davini Equipment phone line. Davini Equipment, Madison and Jackson, 995-1059. Give me a call. What's up, Chris? I can't hear him. There
Hello?
he is. I got you now. All right. Let her rip.
I said I got 2 requests for you today.
All right.
First thing is I ain't heard any neck, so we need to get that going sometime soon. And the next thing is I want you to play me that Braves. Oh, we need to start that off from now on every day during Braves season.
Well, but here's the thing, Chris. It's going out. Like the Braves are going to do away with the tomahawk chop because of the offensiveness to Native Americans, they say.
They can do whatever they want to. I will always attach that to Braves baseball.
Yeah. And I wonder, I guess the Florida, as far as I know, the Florida State Seminoles are still going to use it because they have a really good relationship with the Seminole Indians and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know, but yeah, I think.
And now I've got a question for you.
All right.
I'm gonna throw you a softball, and then I'm gonna also throw you a question in, and let's see what you answer that with.
Okay.
Who was the person that threw out a guy at home plate during the World Series run, actually in the World Series?
What are you talking about? Which World Series?
The World Series that we won. In that series, who threw out somebody at home plate? I will give you a.
Is Andrew Jones?
Yes. Nope. Andrew Jones didn't play with us during the World Series.
Yeah, he did.
He was a right fielder.
Okay, he was a right fielder. He threw somebody out at home plate.
I don't remember a whole lot about that because I was so young, but I do remember that because Fred McGriff and David Justice were 2 of my favorite players.
So was David Justice.
And I don't know if you remember that, but David Justice gunned that dude down at home plate in the World Series, and that's when I've become a real big Braves fan because I was an outfielder when I was younger, but then I become a bigger kid and ended up playing first. But anyway, then the second trivia question I have for you, and this one's up for debate. Who was the best second baseman the Braves had ever had? Honestly, in my opinion, ever had.
The best second baseman they ever had? I mean, wouldn't it come down?
He may not have been as skills, but he was probably more important to the team for years.
Well, it was. You're going to give me either Glenn Hubbard or Mark Lemke, one of those 2.
The second.
Yeah, Lemke. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Hey, Lemke is calling their games on the radio now. Do you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he's a part. If you turn up,
I don't get to listen to him on the radio.
Yeah, if you ever get a chance to, you'll hear him some. He's actually got he's a little bitty guy, and he's actually got this really deep voice. It's pretty cool. Yeah, Mark Lemke, he was a great one. Very underrated.
Yeah, my four favorite of that era was Crime Dog, Lemke, Blauser, and Justice.
Uh-huh. What about Ron Gant? All right, did you know this? Ron Gant actually came up to the majors as a second baseman.
Yep, and then he ended up playing in the outfield and had that motorcycle accident. It was never the same.
Never the same after the accident, and I'll tell you this, had he stayed at second base, he'd have been the most swole second baseman to ever put on cleats.
I think that there's two people that we really got robbed of, one in football and one in baseball. If he hadn't had that wreck, and if Bo Jackson hadn't hurt his leg, it ain't no telling what they would have been.
Yeah. Chris, I appreciate the call, man. I hope you have a great weekend. See you. Yeah, I think.
What about Terry Pendleton, man?
Yeah, Pendleton at third.
I mean, he was kind of I thought he was kind of the glue of that infield.
Yeah, and he kind of was like a leader on the team and a super duper contact hitter. Like, it's so hard to get out. He was he was the
kind of a Tony Gwynn.
That's it. He was a Tony Gwynn approach, just not. He wasn't Tony Gwynn, right? He wasn't as good, but kind of that same approach. Sure was. Let's see here. Nick says, as long as you're doing great broadcasts, you might as well play something from the GOAT, Jack Crystal. Well, I get it, and somebody mentioned Jim Ellis, and I agree with all that, but we're talking Major League Baseball. That's what we're doing today, because it's Major League Baseball opening day. And so, yes, I totally agree with you, though.
Got any Bob Uecker?
Let's see here. I think I do. Hang on a second. Hey, this is just for you. This is just for you, JB.
Dynamite drop-in money at broadcast school has really paid off.
We had several people texting the show that Bond is close to Wiggins, and we got that locations in Stone County on Highway 49, so thanks to everybody. Dad of Squez said there's a Dizzy Dean rest area on Highway 49 in Stone County. That's pretty cool. Denzel says, do you have Dave Newhouse call of Griffey scoring the winning run in the 95 ALDS? I don't have that on hand. I got another vote for Neck. I'll get that to y'all later. Male person said Otis Nixon looked 75 on that team. He did. Did you know Otis Nixon stole 6 bases in one game one time against the Expos? And you're right. He did it all the while looking like he was 75 years old. He had a 19-year-old body and a 75-year-old face. I don't know how you explain that. I'd take it. 100 grand. Good to hear from you. Hope you're on the recovery from coronavirus. 100 grand says, Matt, what's going on? My birthday was Wednesday. It's Friday. We got to get something going on to celebrate through into the. I didn't know it was your birthday. I gladly give you what you want. Gladly. Neck from the Sonic Boom. Roll your windows down. Turn it up to 11. Let's go. I'll tell you this, volume, man, volume. And all these people at LSU think that Neck originated in Baton Rouge. I'm telling you, if you aren't listening to the Sonic Boom play Neck, you ain't listening to it. Yes, that's right. Look them up. They are the best. The JSU Sonic Boom from right here in Jackson, Mississippi. Thanks for the request and hope you're doing well. 100 grand. All right. Back over to the sounds of baseball. What do we have here? Today, opening day for my Braves, for a lot of your teams as well. We had 4 teams playing last night, 2 games. A game and a half because rain washed everything out in Washington last night. I mentioned the late, great Ernie Harwell. Long time great announcer for the Detroit Tigers. What a voice.
Man on first is UL Washington trying to get a lead. Evans holding on the bag with him. Ball 1, the count on Motley. Here's the pitch. Motley swings. There's a pop foul off the third. It may be the pennant. Castillo has it, and the Tigers have won the American League pennant. Their first since 1968. Willie Hernandez, hugged by his teammates. The police are trying to keep the spectators off the field. Some have broken from the center field area, and the Tigers are celebrating their 9th American League pennant here tonight at the corner of Michigan and Trumbull. What a night this has been.
That's Ernie Harwell. What a great voice. What a great voice. Harry Callis, the longtime announcer, late great announcer of the Philadelphia Phillies. He had the catchphrase on home runs. He'd say, "There's a shot, right field, out of here." And we used to always, impersonate that.
Driven to deep left center field. This ball is extra bases. One hopping off the fence. Nunez scores. Rollins scores. Flying around third. Victorino. He scores a bases loaded double. Chase Utley. And the Phillies have taken a 5-3 lead here in the 7th inning. Big clutch blow by Chase.
Well, those bases loaded numbers just went up.
Really?
58 runs batted in now.
Yeah, he had a certain style, and Phillies fans loved him. Ken Hawk Harrelson, White Sox player, then turned announcer.
He gone! That ball into right field deep. And Lillibridge makes the catch. What a play by Lillibridge. Mercy. Hits the wall, hangs on to it. A beautiful play by Brett Lillibridge. That ball hit deep. Way back. Wells at the ball, looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes. Who wants to bunt? Juan Pierre. His first homer, and it's a 6-4 Sox lead.
Yeah, Ken Hawk Harrelson had two catchphrases. First of all, he gone. He strikes somebody out. He gone. And then the home run deal. You can put it on the board. Yes.
Man, those guys are iconic.
They really are.
The way they enunciate and pronounce and do all the little isms that go along with baseball. I just don't think you'll ever have that again. And the audience, those that are listening to us, they don't have the pleasure that you and I do of looking at the VU meters on the board when the crowd noise picks up, because it goes from like a level 10 up to 2 and 1, and almost it reds out, and there's nobody saying anything. It's just the crowd noise.
It's the crowd.
Oh man, great clips you got today.
Well, they play it. These great ones, they kind of play it like an instrument. They realize they've got their words fit in certain spots, and they know how to do that. Okay, Harry Carey. We know the whole when he was older, and the take me out to the ball game and all. Young guy, big time broadcaster. He did the Cardinals games before he did the Cubs. Here's a lot of calls back to back from Harry Carey.
Now the pitch. There's a high drive, deep right center, way back. Might be out of here. It's off the wall. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. A third man scores. And look at this star. Way back. Might be out of here. He did it again. He did it again. The game is tied. The game is tied. Holy cow. How about that? Here it is. There goes a runner. Hey, a line drive off the pitcher's game's over. Cubs win. What a lucky break. The good Lord wants the Cubs to win. A line drive deflected by Smith to the shortstop Owen. And it's a double play.
The good Lord wants the Cubs to win. Harry Carey, a lot of stuff you hadn't heard. All right, so I mentioned Red Barber. Born and raised Columbus, Mississippi. They later moved, and then he wound up the Yankees broadcaster there in New York for many years. And he was on the call when Roger Maris hit home run number 61.
Low. Ball 2. The crowd is reacting negatively. They want to see Maris get something he can swing on. There it is. $61. $5,000, somebody.
Wasn't much to it, was it? He's doing TV there. There it is. 61. I remember this. I was watching this. This is much more modern. The first game at Turner Field. Growing up as a Braves fan, Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, as a kid, you don't know stuff like it's old, it's falling in, fire marshal's got problems with it, It's not ventilated. They don't have air conditioning in the broadcast booth. There's a reason that growing up all those years, in the 80s, I'm watching games in early 90s. I watched those summer games on Sunday afternoon in July from Atlanta Fulton County Stadium, and you hear Skip Carey and you hear Pete Van Wieren, but you hear a box fan in the background. Well, they didn't have air conditioning. And so the first game at Turner Field in 1997.
Under ordinary circumstances, there would be plenty to talk about this final weekend of spring training as Joe Torre brings the defending world champion New York Yankees back to the city he stole the
How
title
about
from.
that? You believe that? The first guy to come back when they opened Turner Field was Joe Torre, the former manager of the Braves, who managed the Yankees to the win over the Braves in the previous World Series. And I was watching the day that happened. Anyway, it's good to go back for me, and I think for so many others. I hope you enjoy it. We do it once a year. It's when our teams are going to start playing baseball in the majors. Go back and remember it. I enjoy learning about these guys, too. Tip says there used to be a Dizzy Dean Museum next to Smith Wills Stadium. Really?
That's correct. Yeah, there was.
Was it where the...
Visited many a times. It was back when the Mets were still playing here.
Okay. Was it in the location where the Hall of Fame is now?
That's correct.
I guess they tore it down.
Correct. Yeah, just a little housekeeping. We got a caller trying to distinguish between Bond, B-O-N-D, Mississippi, in Wiggins County, and Vaughn, V-A-U-G-H-N, Mississippi, in Holmes County.
Okay.
So just clear that up for our listeners.
Okay, Bond being the one we were trying to talk about.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for the information. We need all the help we can get, I can promise you that. All right, Rhett and Denzel, I got your text coming up. We're going to do team number 43 on our college football countdown. That's coming up next. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio.
There's a lot of noise
Farm
when it
Bureau
comes.
Insurance stands ready to provide financial relief to our communities in this time of crisis. This includes a one-time credit to all personal auto policyholders, a donation of $500,000 to the Mississippi Food Network, and additional payment options for those hit the hardest, all while continuing to service customer claims as well. But this is the time to go above and beyond. These are a few ways we're keeping the Farm Bureau promise. To learn more, talk to your agent or visit us online. Go with the home team.
Every farmer understands their farm can't thrive without some good partners like sun, soil, and rain. And farmers in North Mississippi also rely on another important partner, Mississippi Land Bank, because land and farm financing are Mississippi Land Bank's primary focus. We've grown alongside these farmers' crops for more than 100 years. We understand what a farmer needs, and we know the lay of the land in North Mississippi, and that's where I stand.
Hey, like my hog hat. That stands for Country Pleasin' Sausage. Country Meat Packers is a great Mississippi company. Let me tell you a little bit about them, huh? You want to know the reason that you need to sit down at the table and say, country pleasin', please? Here's why. It all starts with hand-picked, pure pork. No parts, no stuff. It's hand-picked ham, bacons, pork loins, the real deal. They produce country pleasin' in small batches also, which means consistency in every package. Spices, fresh ones that are mixed daily on site right there at the plant in Florence. The hand-picked pure pork is coarse ground for an old-style snappy bite, better flavor. Now, their smokehouses are not cookie-cutter houses either. They are designed and built for country meat packers and for their own smoking methods. And they use hickory logs that they split daily on site. They don't use hickory sawdust. The logs produce a better smoke, a stronger flavor. It's the real deal. They use a natural hog casing for their sausage. It's soaked in vinegar for a tender snap. Country Pleasin' sausage is smoked in a 4-hour pure smoke process for the best color and flavor. And here's the thing, it's hand cut, so the package experience is great as well. When you check it out on grocery store shelves throughout the Southeast, you'll see what I'm talking about. And frankly, let me put it this way. It's the best tasting sausage you'll put in your mouth every time, period. That's country pleasing. Have yourself a country pleasing morning, and always text the show on the country pleasing text line.
Guys, 2020 is here. So new year, that means we got some new products, and I know you guys are probably getting ready for this year coming up. So a lot of people in the equipment world, you know, things kind of go in trends, I guess, if you want to say it. So kind of the first big thing for 2020 that we look at when we start evaluating our business is going to be our turf equipment. That's kind of the first big push, because once everything, the water dries up and the grass starts growing, this is what everybody's looking to get. So we've got Kubota, we've got Toro, we carry the new Wright stand-up mower. Doesn't look like much, and it's dirty as all get out. But this thing is, and it costs just as much as zero turn. Not a cheap unit at all. I mean, if you go out there and look at that zero turn, this thing right here, I mean, it's got all your components from your big pumps to your commercial engine to your large steel deck. And these guys were the first ones to make the standard mower. So we added this product last year, and I was just trying to kind of wade in the water with it just to kind of see what they would do. Number one stand-on mower out there. If you do your own research, get online.
ESPN 105.9, The Zone.
All right. A few more minutes with you here on the live stream on Facebook, YouTube, Periscope. Still a long ways to go with you here on the radio this afternoon. We're going to take you all the way up till 3 o'clock. JB's driving this bus. He's going to get you in your driveway safely, where you can then turn it over and keep it right here and listen to Jake, Wimberly, and Beaver on the drive starting at 3 p.m. We'll take you right to the start of their show. That's coming up. Lots of baseball in today's show. That's been fun. We'll flip the switch, do some football here, kind of on the second half of the show, because there is a lot of football to get into. I got baseball on the brain. My Braves are playing this afternoon. Yeah. But plenty of football to get into as well. I think a good way to kind of get into the spirit. Who was it that put this in here? I don't know who this is. I can't quite figure this out. He keeps doing the same thing. His name, he listens to the show and he comments on Periscope, Twitter. And his name is the Ole Miss Vader, as in Darth Vader. But he's always asking about Auburn and wants me to play the Auburn fight song. The name of the song for Auburn's War Eagle, does that get you in a football mood? I hope so, because we're about to do football. Football as in the countdown of 100 teams in 100 days. Team number 43.
It's the final countdown. 100 teams. 100 days.
The countdown is presented by Matt Anderson Properties, a member of National Land Realty. Call Matt Anderson at 408-5155. That's 408-5155.
Yeah, y'all give Matt a call. Matt Anderson with National Land Realty. He can help you buy or sell that piece of timberland, recreational property, waterfront, whatever. He's got the Land 360-degree interactive drone touring, so you can view the property without ever setting foot on it. It's really cool. And if you're selling property, Matt will get you comprehensive internet traffic reports for your listing. You can know who's looking, how often. Call him, Matt Anderson, at 601-408-5155, 408-5155. Team number 43 on the countdown is from the Sun Belt, Appalachian State. Now listen to me. Don't be rolling your eyes at me and going, oh, Matt, come on now. You built this up to be like some kind of cool preview of some great team, and now it's App State. What I'm telling you is there's something about them I bet you don't know. I don't know that I really realize it, and I keep up with football. Now, their coach from last year, Eli Drinkwitz, is it Elijah? Eli Drinkwitz left App State, and he's now the head coach at Missouri. That's still not everything I wanted you to know about App State. They're interesting. bad fight song. Listen, all right, they're in the Sun Belt. Let me put this in perspective. I've told you before, I'm using the Football Power Index list at ESPN as our guide to kind of go through these 100 teams. When you think about it, App State out of the Sun Belt is way on up there at 43. We've already done SEC teams. We've already done a lot of ACC teams, Big Ten teams, and App State from the Sun Belt at number 43. Yeah, so they're on up there. And they do have a first-year head coach because Drinkwitz left to go to Missouri, as I told you. But listen to this. I bet y'all didn't know this. As a matter of fact, I guarantee you didn't know this. I guarantee you didn't know this. They are one of the winningest programs in the entire country over the last 5 years. Do I need to say that again? Appalachian State, one of the winningest programs in the country over the last 5 years. They went 13-1 last year. They were 7-1 in their conference. They had a kind of an upset at the hands of Georgia Southern. 13-1 last year. It landed their coach at Missouri. 2018, they were 11-2. In 2017, they had a down year, went 9-4. 2016, they were 10-3. 2015, they were 11-2.
Sounds like an East Coast equivalent of Boise.
It is very, very appropriate. That's a very good parallel that you draw right there. Okay, so they're in the Sun Belt. They're not playing. You know, they almost upset Tennessee for the season opener back in 2016. I watched that game. It was really close. They really should have won it. I think they missed a field goal somewhere along the way. But listen to that. 11-2, 10-3, 9-4, 11-2, and they went 13-1 last year. They're one of the winningest programs in the entire country. And this year's team, even with a first-year head coach, Sean Clark, he coached, he was, basically their interim in the bowl game. What did they do? They beat UAB 31-17 in the New Orleans Bowl. That's the bowl game they've been to twice in a row here. Let's see, 5 straight bowl games. They've won them all. They've won 5 straight in the bowl games. And so they have a 13-1 team last year in the Sun Belt. They returned 8 starters on offense, 5 on defense, and 66 overall letterman. I mean, their entire team off a 13-win team last year is basically back. It really is incredible. I'm looking at out-of-conference. The only big-time Power 5, they have 2 out-of-conference scheduled, or had 2 scheduled, which is week 2. They were going to play on a Friday night at Wake Forest. That's an ACC team. Well, remains to be seen if that happens. And then week 3, they were going to go to Wisconsin on September 19th, but the Big Ten is not going to play the non-conference game, so that one's scratched. Here's the other thing about App State. I got to get to this before I run out of time. In 2004, they put out the corniest promotional video, JB, that anybody has ever seen. It became legendary on the internet. I
don't know that I'm familiar with it.
It became a meme. It is App State is hot, hot, hot.
High upon the mountain above the rest, there's a university that's going places, working together to be the best. Appalachian family of smiling faces, teaching and learning, growing and living.
Hey, I've heard a lot of
That's cheesy.
I've heard a lot of church choirs that sing a lot better than this.
Nothing's hotter than ASU.
Listen. Hot, hot, hot.
Appalachian is hot, hot, hot.
Come on now.
Come and let us show you what we've got. Come and let us show you what we're hot, hot, hot.
Oh, it's great. Please
You're
go.
having to rhyme got with hot. That's just horrible.
Please.
Hey, I tell you this.
Go
I'm
watch that.
looking at. They have a quarterback, Zach Thomas, who's from Trussville, Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
That is on a Maxwell Award list watch candidates this year. They also have a running back that's on the Paul Horning.
So let's see.
So they got some players.
Yeah, and see, Zach Thomas is a senior, 63% completion last year, 2,000 yards, 21 touchdowns, 6 picks. They are really good. Charles commented on Facebook. He said they are better than number 43. They whipped North Carolina and South Carolina last year. Last year they beat North Carolina in week 3 at Chapel Hill, 34-31. They went to Columbia, South Carolina in late October and won 20-15. They were underdogs in both. That's right, beat them both. App State, one of, if not the most notable upsets in all of college football history. This is what it sounded like the season opener, 2007, at Michigan in the Big House. On television, Michigan trying to kick the game-winning field goal, trailing App State.
Out of the hold and Mesco. Good snap, good hold. And the kick is blocked. Appalachian State has stunned the college football world. One of the greatest upsets in sports history.
All right, that's TV. This is the Appalachian State home radio crew calling that same upset. Seconds left, season opener 2007 at Michigan in the Big House, holding a lead with Michigan trying to kick a field goal. This is the App State radio broadcast.
37-yard field goal. This is it. This is it right here. Gensel ready. The snap's good. The whole the kick is good. The Mountaineers are going to try to take it back to the Big House. 30, 20, 15, 10. The Mountaineers have just beaten the Michigan Wolverines. The Mountaineers of Appalachian State have just beaten the Michigan Wolverines in the Big House.
I'm telling you, it's just, the poor color guy. He couldn't contain himself. He's just like he fell off a cliff. I mean, you're not supposed to do that. You know, like we want to be able to hear we'd like to be able to hear the play-by-play guy, what he's saying on this call, dude. Oh, but I know what could happen, man. That emotion will charge you up and stuff just comes out if you're not careful. Kind of been there. Maybe not to that extent, but I have kind of been there. Oh boy. All right. For those of y'all that first half of the show, we stream it on Facebook, Twitter, Periscope, YouTube. Thanks for tuning in. I'll send y'all over to the live stream. Pull it up on your phone. Go to ESPN The Zone. Go to thezone1059.com or pull us up on the iHeart app and stream it right there. If you're listening on the radio, still a ways to go. And John, I'll come to your phone call next. I'm Matt in the Farm Bureau studio. Farm Bureau, go with the home team.